Imagine standing at the edge of a quiet beach. The soft roar of the waves reaches your ears, the wind carries the faint scent of salt, and the horizon stretches so far that sky and water seem to merge into one single shade of blue. In that moment of calm, a simple question forms inside your mind, one you've probably never asked out loud, but has always been there, quietly waiting. Is this a sea, or is this an ocean? It sounds like such a basic question, something a child might ask, but the truth is, most adults don't actually know the answer. We use both words all the time, switching between them as if they were identical, and for much of human history, they were treated almost as the same thing. But today, you're about to uncover something far deeper, because the difference between a sea and an ocean is much more than just size, location, or naming. It touches climate, biology, geography, geology, and even the very stability of life on Earth. And once you understand this difference, you won't just know more. You'll start seeing the planet through a new lens. The ocean is Earth's true giant. It covers around 70% of the planet's surface, an unimaginable amount of water stretching across the globe. When astronauts look down from space, they don't see a blue dot by accident. They see something dominated by water, connected from one end of the world to the other. This vast, uninterrupted body of water is what scientists call the global ocean, a single planetary scale system that moves, breathes, circulates, heats, cools, stirs, transports, and transforms everything around it. Yet we humans divide this one ocean into 5 enormous regions: the Pacific, the Atlantic, the Indian, the Arctic, and the Southern Ocean. These divisions help us study and navigate the waters, but the ocean itself doesn't care. It simply flows, endlessly interconnected. The Pacific is the largest of all. Not just large, colossal. If you took all the continents on Earth and placed them inside the Pacific Ocean, they would fit, with room to spare. In some parts of the Pacific, the ocean floor sinks so deep that sunlight never reaches it. At the bottom of the Mariana Trench, the pressure is so extreme, over 8 tons per square inch, that any ordinary object would be crushed instantly. And yet, life exists there. Strange, alien-like creatures that glow in the dark, move slowly, and survive in an environment that humans once believed was totally lifeless. These organisms challenge everything we thought we understood about biology. They live in total darkness, freezing temperatures, and crushing pressure, but they live. The Atlantic Ocean, stretching between the Americas and the continents of Europe and Africa, is a highway of currents, wind patterns, and history. For centuries, it shaped trade routes, migrations, conflicts, and discoveries. The Indian Ocean, warm and restless, feeds some of the most biodiverse marine ecosystems on Earth, while also giving birth to devastating cyclones that can reshape coastlines and destroy entire regions. The Arctic Ocean spends most of its year under a solid lid of ice, while the Southern Ocean wraps around Antarctica with some of the strongest and coldest currents known to science. But if oceans are these massive systems that shape the entire planet, then what exactly is a sea? A sea is a smaller body of salty water, and it's almost always connected to an ocean. But there is something else, something that fundamentally sets it apart. Seas are usually bordered or partially enclosed by land. That simple geographic feature changes everything. Being closer to continents affects temperature, salinity, biodiversity, currents, weather patterns, and even the color of the water. Take the Mediterranean Sea, for example. Surrounded by Europe, Africa, and Asia, it became the cradle of civilizations. Empires were built along its shores. Myths were born here. Languages, cultures, and trade networks developed around this warm, mostly enclosed body of water. Its characteristics: warmer temperatures, high salinity, unique marine species are very different from the open Atlantic that feeds into it. Or look at the Caribbean Sea, famous for its turquoise waters and coral reefs teeming with fish, turtles, sharks, and vibrant marine life. The reason it looks so different from the deep blue of the Atlantic is simple. It's shallower, warmer, and protected by a ring of islands that allow sunlight to reach the ocean floor, creating dazzling shades of blue. The Dead Sea, on the other hand, is not even a true sea. It's a lake, but its salinity is so extreme, over 8 times saltier than the ocean, that no fish or plant can survive. The water is so dense that your body floats without effort. Scientists and tourists alike visit this place to witness one of nature's most surreal phenomena. And then there's the Aral Sea, a tragedy on a planetary scale. Once one of the largest inland seas in the world, it was fed by 2 great rivers. But in the 20th century, those rivers were diverted for irrigation, leaving the sea to evaporate slowly. In just a few decades, more than 90% of it disappeared, turning into dry desert and leaving behind rusted ships resting on sand. Today, former seafloors are covered with toxic dust storms that affect the health of entire regions. The Aral Sea stands as one of the most painful reminders of how fragile aquatic ecosystems can be. Now that you understand both seas and oceans, the real question becomes, what truly separates one from the other? From a scientific perspective, oceans are massive, deep, and global. They reach depths so extreme that even our most advanced submarines struggle to explore them. The deepest point on Earth, over 11,000 meters, could swallow Mount Everest entirely. leaving more than a kilometer of water above its peak. Seas, on the other hand, are shallower, warmer, and more accessible. Most sunlight penetrates seas much more than oceans, encouraging photosynthesis and creating environments full of life. Oceans control global climate. Their currents carry warm and cold water across continents, regulating temperatures, generating storms, shaping ecosystems, and distributing nutrients. Without these currents, Earth would be drastically different. Entire continents could freeze over. Rainfall patterns would collapse. Tropical regions would become deserts. Marine life would starve. Seas are more influenced by local conditions, winds, rivers, storms, seasons, and coastlines. Their characteristics vary widely. Some are extremely salty. Some are nearly fresh water. Some freeze during the winter. Others remain warm year-round. Another key difference lies beneath the surface. The ocean floor is incredibly varied. Mountains taller than the Rockies. Underwater volcanoes constantly erupting. Vast plains of sediment. Deep trenches and hydrothermal vents that release mineral-rich water into darkness. Seas have simpler seafloors, shallower, closer to tectonic plates, and more affected by continental geology. And here's something even more fascinating. Despite being essential for life, Earth's oceans are still one of the least explored places on the planet. More than 80% of the ocean floor has never been mapped using high-resolution methods. The vast majority of marine species, possibly millions, haven't been discovered yet. Entire underwater landscapes may exist without us ever knowing. Scientists sometimes joke that we know more about Mars, Jupiter's moons, or distant galaxies than we know about the deep ocean. And it's true. While oceans shape the planet, seas shape human experience. They are where people swim, fish, trade, travel, build cities, and create cultures. Seas connect civilizations and influence economies. Oceans connect worlds and influence the entire Earth system. And now, the next time someone asks you, what's the difference between a sea and an ocean, you won't just answer. You will explain something vast, something essential. Something that most people have never truly understood. If you made it all the way here, it means you love exploring the world with depth, curiosity, and wonder. And if that's you, I want to invite you to join this journey with me. Subscribe to the channel so you never miss the next dive into our planet's mysteries. Leave a like to show your support, and comment below which sea or ocean you'd like us to explore in a future episode. I'll see you in the next dive. Until then, keep exploring.